An unpaid wages demand letter notifies an employer of a final attempt to collect past wages. It's commonly used by an employee when demanding his or her last paycheck after ending employment, but it can have several different usages, as we'll soon review at length. In this video, we'll discuss crucial information about unpaid wages, demand letters, as well as where to get a free and official template. First, what are unpaid wages? Put simply, an unpaid wage is a payment that an employer has failed to give to an employee for doing a certain job. Most employers act lawfully when it comes to paying their employees' wages due to federal and state protections. However, the case may arise when an employer withholds a payment. Since unpaid wages can take many forms, it's important to understand the different examples of unpaid wages. Some of the most common cases include an employer owing an employee his or her last paycheck after termination of employment, an employer failing to meet their state's minimum wage or overtime pay requirements, an employer shorting hours in order to pay fewer wages than the employee actually worked, an administrative error that resulted in underpaid wages, and an employer not honoring paid leave or paid time off benefits. All these unpaid wages can be demanded from an employer by an employee using a formal demand letter. On that note, let's review the importance of sending an unpaid wages demand letter. Sending a well-written letter with strong legal language is necessary to motivate an employer to issue the unpaid wage. Communicating the request for payment in a letter acts as a final notice for the employer to pay or face legal action, documents the amount currently owed, stipulates a due date for the employer to pay the full amount, records the demand for payment in case any legal disputes arise, and can notify the employer that withholding wages is unlawful depending on state law. It's important to verify the labor laws in your state since federal labor regulations may not cover unpaid wages. After watching this video, you can navigate to our site for detailed state-required time limits. Drafting a letter with clear language and professional formatting is crucial. Therefore, let's wrap things up by reviewing some information on what to include in an unpaid wages demand letter. An effective letter that formally demands unpaid wages will consist of the following: the sender's and recipient's contact information, including names, mailing addresses, and phone numbers, the date when the letter was sent, the total amount due for unpaid wages, a start and end date of the period worked which is still owed, X amount of business days the employer has to pay the full amount, a notice of intent to seek legal action if the wages remain unpaid by the due date, and the employee's signature. As is recommended with all demand letters, it can be sent using certified mail to ensure it reaches the recipient. Keep in mind that an unpaid wages demand letter is meant to serve as a final attempt to collect the payment. It's always recommended to reach out to the employer first in order to bring the matter to their attention. Where forms the largest database of legal documents. Access your free unpaid wages demand letter templates at the link below.